on to the Q&A sessions, we have Stephanie. We have Stephanie here, and she's going to be reading some of the questions that have come in through the chat. And Stephanie, over to you. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'll be taking questions from you guys here in the audience. I might not be able to go through all the questions, but I'll just pick the recurring ones and they will be attended to. Okay. All right. So this first question here is from John. And he's asking, if I'm starting my business, should I focus more on my brand vision?
Okay, I think your network's a bit bad there, but I think the question is, should John focus more on his brand visuals or what?
Or brand strategy?
Okay. Like I said during the presentation, definitely your strategy first. Make sure your strategy is on point, and then you work on your visuals, because your strategy is supposed to guide your visuals, not the other way around. So if you're going to start your business, work on strategy first, understand your strategy, and then you can now start building visuals around that strategy.
This question is from Leah, and she wants to know how often should a brand revisit and update its branding strategy?
All right. To update your branding strategy, there isn't a fixed time for that, but you should review your brand strategy annually or every 2 years, or some brands do 5 years, depending on how quickly your industry changes. So you want to review, typically we advise all our clients to review their brand strategy annually to make sure they are in line with the markets, because markets these days change really fast. So you want to review you don't you want to review your brand quickly. You want to review your brand first. You carry out an audit on the brand to make sure that it's in line with what it's supposed to be and in line with the customer psychology before you make any changes. So you don't just review, you typically audit your brand, and this is usually done by professionals. You consult them, they look at everything your brand does, and then they work on that. We audit brands, and we currently have our free audits going on. So if you watch this video, then you're lucky, you get the link in the description, or you can request one directly from us, and we will be sure to give your brand a full audit.
All right. Next question is from Ibubi. And he's asking, what's the biggest branding mistake you see small businesses make?
The biggest branding mistake I see small businesses make is going the visual identity route before creating strategy. Most small businesses work on logo first. I have an idea, let's create a logo. Let's create our colors, let's create this nice patterns. Oh, I saw this really good visual identity designer. They pay him a lot of money to build their brand identity, and the person does that. And granted, it's a fantastic identity, but it will have to be changed in the next 6 months to a year when they realize that it doesn't align with the market that they're servicing. And this often is expensive, because if you did get a full branding package, it often comes with strategy being done for you and the research being done for you, as well as your visual identity, as opposed to doing visual identity separate and your branding separate. So I would say that is the biggest mistake I see small businesses make with regards to branding.
All right. Next question from Hannah. How do I make sure my branding connects emotionally with my target audience?
Again, this comes down to your strategy. You must do your research, know how they speak, understand your customers, understand the audience, understand the market as a whole, what your competitors are doing and why they're doing that, who they are speaking to. Then you know how you want to differentiate yourself and what phrases, what words, what sentences, what emotions you need to speak to that will trigger a response from your audience.
Okay. I'm going to take Sakura's question next. So he says, our audio is a bit muddy and his network isn't great either. So would these slides be available after the webinar?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, the slides will be available after the webinar. We will email the slides to you. So everyone who attended the webinar live will get, because you fill the form, they will be emailed to the emails we have on record, and you have them and do as it is with them. Also, they are coming in PowerPoint um, formats. So if you don't have PowerPoint, then you probably find a way to open it. I'm sure there are other versatile tools out there. And with
Okay,
regards to
awesome.
our,
So
I should add, with regards to our audio, we will work on that. If the audio is muddy, we will try our best to make sure that the next episodes of the webinars are much better.
okay, awesome. So Sakura, I can look out for our email to you with the slides. I'm going to take one more question
Yes.
from Jacqueline, and she's asking, can you share more examples of how a strong brand message influences design decisions?
All right. I think that's a fantastic question. A strong brand message is like guidance for the designers, whoever is designing, even if you are a one-man business and you are the one designing. But once you know what the brand message is, you know what you want to communicate, then you can weigh your design against that, right? So if your message is supposed to be energetic and nice, and you come up with a design, and the design looks good, but isn't energetic or nice, then you know we need to tweak this a bit. If your messaging is soft, then you want your logo to also be soft to convey that message. When a person looks at your logo, they shouldn't look at your logo and think, "Oh, it's so rigid." You know, they want to look at your logo and it's soft, it's adaptable. Also, finally, I think one of the best ways is when you look at a full visual identity being done, right? And you see the patterns and the soundscapes and the logos and the just everything in the visual that's part of your visual identity. Once you know what message you are trying to communicate, you'll be able to tie everything in together to definitely say that you are communicating on an emotional level. Your logo is or your logo or your pattern or the design on social media is really hitting the nail on the head. So when a person scrolls in view of your brand, when they see your brand anyway, they catch a glimpse of it, they get that emotion also. They get that message also. I hope that answers the question. I think we only have time for
Okay.
one more question, right, Stephanie?
Yes, we do. So I'm just going to take one last question from Blessing. And the question is, what are some signs that it's time for a company to rebrand?
Like, I believe it was Leah's question also for when to rebrand. But I think the how often to rebrand, right? To review your brand. I think the signs to I think it was Leah's question to how often to review your brand, and which is very similar to this. But to
Yes.
the signs to rebrand often come from the market. Your when the market changes, when something drastic happens, you see the auto companies currently, the auto brands are shifting from whatever they have been, from very aggressive pictorial and just from graphics and from very graphic mascots in their logos, they're shifting towards plain text. They're switching towards plain destructive text, many of them, and this is done because the market is shifting, not because the brand is shifting, but they now, because the market is shifting, they need to realign. So if the market shifts and it's a significant enough shift that it affects the philosophy of the brand, if the brand is going to shift to the market, then the brand should consider rebranding. If also you are in you are pivoting, you are changing your offering, you are changing the philosophies of the brand, then you have to rebrand accordingly, unless your brand is versatile enough to go with the flow.
Okay, so that's all the time we have for questions on this session.
All right. That's awesome. Thank you all for coming in. I hope this has been as enjoyable for you as it has been for me. And I hope to see your emails or your comments on how the brand has really helped, on how the webinar has really helped you. And if you do want to reach out to us, you can leave something in the comments and we will be sure to give a response. Or you can reach out to us on Instagram by mail or over at LinkedIn. So we've already created what we already